I asked my viewers to send in their art so I can review them. Am I gonna like it? The possibilities of me liking it are pretty small, but so far, from what I've seen from my viewers, it hasn't been that bad yet. So we have Lauren Kelly here saying, Bozho, salut, Sean, bonjour. Thanks so much for your art call. Absolutely love your channel and would be down to collab at some point, should there ever be an opportunity, as we have French-Canadian heritage in common. I'm Anishinaabe from a band of Potawatomi, moved on the trail of death to Oklahoma, descended in part from fur traders from Trois-Rivières. Hey, I lived in Trois-Rivières. I grew up in Trois-Rivières. Or like on the outskirts of Trois-Rivières, which means 3 rivers in French. Currently working on obtaining a certificate of citizenship up there. By the way, for anyone who's in the US and would like to fuck off from the US, if you can prove that you have any of your ancestors that are from Canada, you can have a path to citizenship to Canada from your ancestry, if you can prove it. In the meantime, please find the requested materials at my website, laurenkelly.art. Artworks can be viewed under Art, Body of Work, Bio under About, Bio, and a description of the work under About. Artist statement. Okay, let's try that. I don't know if that's intuitive. Maybe it'll be easier to figure out once I open the website. Please feel free to let me know what additional information I can provide. Hope you are well, and big thanks for all the good work you put in. Your videos are such a light. Thank you so much, Lauren. Lauren Kelly says, Lauren Kelly, born in 1994, citizen Potawatomi, is an artist based in Oklahoma. Her traditional name is Yanko Yegekwe, or connects the generations woman. Specializing in acrylic painting, Kelly is best known for her distinctive style characterized by busy asymmetrical deviation on traditional floral and woodland designs and dreamy, semi-surreal figures. Her work explores themes of women and femininity, body autonomy, the interior of the human psyche, and ancestral connection. In addition to her arts career, Lauren is also a consultant and contributor with various arts and native organizations in Oklahoma and beyond. And we can find, oh, not the CV, the artist statement. As an artist rooted in my citizen Potawatomi heritage and informed by my experiences around mental health and post-traumatic growth, my work is a dialogue between the past and present, a space where tradition intertwines with modernity and personal history gains meaning in a wider story. My acrylic paintings, marked by woodland and floral motifs, are a reflection of my intentional engagement with symbolism and the complexities of the human psyche. Each layer of my painting is improvised, intended to evoke the interior landscapes of the mind and the broader spectrum of body sovereignty. I'm driven by a desire to explore and articulate the nuanced experiences of women and feminine figures, integrating ancestral connections into a visual language that resonates with both contemporary and traditional audiences. Or in other words, walking in 2 worlds. I like the artist statement. As I've already criticized before, sometimes artist statements are really, really hard to understand or to get, because people get into like very like wordy stuff. I feel like here is very accessible, very understandable. So I like it for that. The one thing I am worried about just from reading it and not seeing, I see some of your works, is how can this be depicted in a way that I will be affected, in a way that I will be able to identify these themes, right? Because like, for example, like women and femininity, like, how am I going to delve into the world of women and feminine figures, ancestral connections, and see nuance in that? Does that make sense? How am I going to learn from these things? Because they seem pretty broad in a way. How am I going to look at these paintings and be affected by them in a way that's not too vague? Because these themes are very all-encompassing. Because I think there are ways in which you can talk about femininity and womanhood and the balance between tradition and contemporary. But I feel like there's going to need to be like some experiences that are more pointed than just how wide that is, but that's an artist statement, so it's kind of meant to be wide, right? So we're going to look into the body of work. I'm not talking because I'm trying to figure out what I'm feeling. It's not a the feeling is not like a revelation and like a strong feeling, as you can probably tell. But it's not necessarily a rejection either. North Side Star says, I love the purple one. So this one. I think these could do really well if I knew a bit more what they were depicting in a educational way, in the sense that, like, here, matriarchs walking on fire. What does this represent? What is the symbolism of walking on fire? Is it a tradition? Is it a metaphor? And maybe that's not necessarily your job to do this educational work. Maybe it's for like art curators to do it as well, and people like me who do like the criticism. Like, for example, I like this one with the geese. I like this one. I also like this one in their like physical aspect, like their aesthetics. Like, I weep for the seventh fire, but like I want to know, what does that mean? I weep for the seventh fire. Like, what is the seventh fires? And so maybe we need to do our own research. But it could be nice to have, maybe if you click on it, I don't know, like if you hover over it, you have like a little description or something, or at least present it somewhere. What is the seventh fires? Seventh Fire's prophecy is an important Anishinaabe oral tradition. The seventh fire is a critical time of choice between two paths, materialism and destruction, or spirituality and healing. If the people choose correctly, it leads to an eighth and final fire of peace. That's kind of cool, right? That's really cool. And honestly, no matter how you depict it, just depicting it in itself, no matter how you do it, is going to be cool. And because of that, it makes me engage with the work a bit more, not only learning, but also trying to, as you say, bridge the understanding of what you're depicting between, you know, the tradition and contemporary understanding. What about this one here, which I also like? I think this is the one I prefer. Gish Gokwe is an Ojibwe female given name, meaning sky woman or day woman, and also the title of by Lauren Kelly. Functions as a traditional female given name within Anishinaabe communities. Connects to foundational cultural concepts of sky and creation. But see, like, I'd like to know what Gish Gokwe means to you, and like why you decided to make a painting of it. Or is this just like a representation of it? In which case, it's fine, but I don't know much what to make much of it. You know, personally, that's my personal stuff. Like that's just me. I know a lot of people like this. The like the little marks of paint, which I see often everywhere. I personally don't like that. But that's me personally. Again, you don't have to like follow what I say. Please don't, actually. Don't do art to appeal to my tastes. Jesus Christ. But this makes me think of, it makes it very decorative. The like the little strokes of paint of different colors. It makes it feel very decorative. And in a way, it feels like, I don't want to be like, I don't want to be mean, but it makes me feel like decorative TJ Maxx art. Department store abstract art. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Lauren, because that you're not. You have actual intention, which I appreciate. What I'm trying to pinpoint, which I can't even find anyway, so maybe I'm fucking wrong about this. Ah, there you go. There you fucking go. This is what I mean. But this type of, I don't know how you call it, like these small brushstrokes next to each other is not a style that I like, or a technique that I like. Far from it. So it kind of snaps me out, but that's because I have a personal hatred for it. And the fact that I can still appreciate your work despite you using that technique shows that you're getting at me somewhere. Somewhere in my little dark heart that hates art, you're getting somewhere in there. But yeah, I think I would love to know more about these artworks. I Weep for the Seventh Fire, I just Googled it, got a really quick AI answer, and it made me appreciate it so much more, right? But yeah, thank you so much for sending in your art. Very, very appreciated. We're gonna move on to the next artist, who is David L. Blanchard, or Blanchard. We were talking about people who could get Canadian citizenship. David L. Blanchard from Utah is probably... Blanchard is a Quebec name. So David, if you want to have Canadian citizenship, okay, apparently there's a path for Canadian citizenship if you can prove your ancestry coming from Canada, which with that name, unless you're from like your ancestors came directly to America from France, you're probably Québécois. Or your origins are Québécois. Sean recruiting. yeah, I'm recruiting. No, just if some viewers are from the United States, I will do my best to get them out of there. David Blanchard is an artist from Tuele, Utah, who graduated summa cum laude from Utah Valley University with a BFA in painting and drawing. Is it summa cum laude? I don't know. I'm no academic. Do I look like I've been to university? I have been to university, but I've never graduated. Their work has focused on surrealist oil paintings, but also includes printmaking and various drawing media. Beyond their capstone project and co-curating Revealing Unknowns at UVU, Blanchard participated in exhibitions with the Alfred Lambourne Arts Program, JKR Gallery, Salt Lake Community College's Eclese Gallery, and Urban Arts Gallery. I don't know any of those. Their work has been published in the university journals Untold Warp and Weave Touchstones and the Journal of Student Leadership, and they've written articles for Utah's 15 Bytes art magazine. If you react to my work and hate on it too much, then I won't watch the stream and I'll keep taking my SSRIs. And remember, there are good things in the world. Thank you. Have a nice day. What's SSRIs? Antidepressants. Oh, okay. They're saying they're depressed and I could make it worse. Uh-oh. Can I tell you what I thought? Like, just intuitively, I was like, wait, SSRIs? Does this person have cancer? But that's MRIs. So I thought they were trying to get me by the sentiments by saying that they have cancer, but they're just depressed, as we all are. So that's this is extremely surrealist. I hope we get to see them closer. I'd like to read this. Okay, we're gonna read it first. Wait, no. I gotta say something about it. One thing that I'm not too sure about and that I'm going into this wary about is how... Okay, surrealism is really cool, but it's also the product of its time. 20s, 30s, 40s. There's something to be said about surrealism being reclaimed, like a sort of neo-surrealism, and maybe applying it to our day, which could be interesting to look into. But what I'm afraid is that people like surrealism and are just emulating what was being done 100 years ago, like a century ago. And if that's the case, then it's like, to me, it loses a lot of its potential and its interest. I don't want to see paintings that could have been done 100 years ago. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. But I'd like something a bit more contemporary. Like, I want something more contemporary, right? I want to be, if I want to look at paintings that were done 100 years ago, or that could have been done 100 years ago, I'll look at the masters. So is there a way in which you can do, or which you can produce surreal art that is adapted to today's context? So neo-surrealism in a way. Also, the preoccupations of surrealism were popular back then with the whole advent of psychoanalysis, Freud, and like the analysis of dreams, blah, 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 which were really new in the West. The analysis of dreams have been like really popular worldwide for a very long time. But like the West came in like in the 1920s, like, oh my God, dreams can say something about us, which revolutionary. Wow. Who could have thought about that? This interest for dreams and for the subconscious, for Freud, has kind of waned in the past century as well. So how can you make your art relevant when you advertise yourself as surrealist, when the reasons why surrealism was popular was because it was kind of a product of its time for the reasons I mentioned already. But I'm excited to see how you deal with that, and excited to see if it works or if it doesn't. Stick around to find out if it does. Please take a moment to write down or draw any dreams you remember, whether they were recent or a long time ago. I will be adding some entries of my own throughout the exhibition's run. Okay, so this was during the exhibition. And it feels like it's just surrealism. I was going to say surrealism 2.0, but it just feels like a repeat of surrealism so far. So far. I primarily work within the medium of oil painting and the style of the surrealist movement. My paintings act as personal psychological investigations, which I don't like, and opportunities for both playful mind wandering and mindfulness. Although they seem contradictory on the surface, it's my intention to tie aimless surprises with focused action by using surrealist techniques and by recording my dreams in a journal and recreate them. This is exactly what I was worried about. Also, another thing that I didn't mention, which I want to mention, is that this whole personal psychological investigations, as I've said before, when people say, I want to talk about my emotions, I want to talk about my mental, place in life or whatever, you have to make me care about your personal psychological investigations. Because I'm sorry to say, but I'm not going to immediately care about what's going on in your head if you don't make me care. Why should I care about what's going on in your head? Right? What's going on in your life that makes me want to say, okay, what's going on in your head is going to be different from mine because of X experience, right? If it's different from mine because of X experience, then I can have a different perspective. But from a purely personal psychological investigations, I'm going to assume that it doesn't come from anywhere aside from your head, if that makes any sense at all. And in that case, I'm like, okay, well, why do I care? Just going into someone else's psychological state through surrealism doesn't do anything for me. It might produce some cool images, as the surrealists did. They produced really cool images. And as you said, it's a style, in the style of the surrealist movement. But I'm not looking for style. I'm looking for stories. Surrealist artists may appear more chaotic than the piece that is associated with meditation. Their work is intentionally unpredictable, often creating interruptions to our thinking or breaks away from our expectations. Yet through my own interest in surrealism and Buddhism, I have found myself focusing on both mindfulness and automatic processes to improve my life, and I often find parallels between them. While creating paintings of dreams I've had or identifying imagery from random splashes of paint, I would meditate beforehand and try to be mindful of my painting process by focusing on the brushes in my hands, the force I applied to the painting surface, and what it's like to see the world around me. I work most effectively when I get into a focused, mindful state, and that includes an acceptance of the unexpected, surrealist-inspired image that I work with. Although mindfulness tends to be thought of as a form of focused awareness, we can become more mindful of mind wandering by recalling it and attempting to see when it is happening. Bringing our attention to mind wandering, we can discover ideas we may never have never consciously encountered, which enriches our lives and offers opportunities to consider the reasons for what our minds wander over. Though they may appear unproductive to some, the interruptions of dreaming, wandering, and play are a necessary facet of life that we need to be sensitive to. It's my intention to interrupt others' everyday lives for a moment to be mindful in a new way. This gives, and it's not a compliment, this gives art therapy, which is fine as an exercise, as a therapeutic exercise. And like, I think this reads as, hey, you want to feel better? You should do art that explores your subconsciousness. This is what it gives. It gives self-help art, which I don't like, because that's not what I'm looking for in art. I don't want to see someone feeling like being self-helped through art, and I don't want to be self-helped through art. It's a good tool for self-help, as I've heard, but it's not the result that I'm looking out of art. You know, art is a tool for many, many different things. It can be to express yourself. It can be to express an idea, an experience. It can be to do therapy. If it's to do therapy or express yourself, it might be good for yourself, right? It might be cathartic for yourself. But for others, it might be, right? And that's how it feels to me right now. But maybe I will find experiences that I will be like, that I will be able to get something out of. Jim Carrey style art. So funny, yet so troubled. And you can really tell in his paintings that he's so troubled. Sometimes it's the ones who make you laugh that are the most disturbed. Can we have some claps? Can we have some snaps in chat, please? Kapar says, do you feel similarly about Impressionists? Just trying to evoke the feeling of some scene. Like, yes, there's historical curiosities they captured, but it's like, this is how the sunset felt to me. I don't give a fuck about Impressionism. To me, Impressionism is purely decorative. At one point in art history, it was revolutionary. And that I can appreciate that. At one point, it was revolutionary. At one point, it was subversive, not just in its aesthetics, but also in the fact that they were doing plein air painting, right? They were going outside. But to me, today, this is purely decorative. And there are some ways in which you could make an Impressionist painting or in the Impressionist style and still make it interesting today. But it won't be the style in itself that will make it interesting. I think we're beyond this. We're beyond the whole idea that styles in themselves are enough to make a painting or an artist or even an art movement, if those even exist anymore, relevant. We're in the age of stories. We're in the age of experience being communicated. Honestly, if I saw this as an exhibition, I'd be happy. Just from like a first look, I think this is much better than a lot of the things that I've seen in many exhibitions. We've got a picture of a door. Do not enter. Okay. Okay, you use the door as an artwork. I can appreciate that. I'm not going to read all this. Pause and read if you need to. But it won't be me who's going to read it. Okay, so we have each art. He died on the crust. I kind of like this because this is funny. Okay, we got the full pictures. Fetuses. Somehow my audience loves to paint fetuses. Okay. This is my favorite. We'll get back to it. This is like pure surrealism. That doesn't mean much to me. Same here. Died on the crust. That I like just for the pun. I think it's funny. Fingers, lamp tongue. No, not abstraction. Slop, slop. The moon with a face. I feel like that's it's a bit overdone. Okay, I'm a bit critical because most of it, it's like, I don't feel like what I was looking for in a neo-surrealist body of work to convince me that surrealism is relevant again, make surrealism relevant again. I don't feel like I have been convinced of that, or that it's been modernized to make it relevant 100 years after its popularity. I will tell you though, however, one of them I did like, and it's this one. Why? Because I feel like it's a lot more contemporary. I feel like it's more contemporary. I think the POV shot, just in general, is more contemporary. I think the POV body cam, Jacob Geller, my beloved, made a great video on this. You have something that's a bit like Cronenberg-ish, right? With like the hand having turned into, what is this, like a, I will call it a mandibule or something. Having rejected papers, maybe having like, yeah, coming from like the open door, rejected. This is confidential, redacted. Like the person's on their knees, their hand has been crippled. Or like turned into like a, looks like a bug. One could say it's Kafka-esque. So this, I feel, has a bit more potential in contemporarizing or modernizing or making surrealism and bringing it to the 21st century. Not that it's necessarily a 21st century subject, it just feels more contemporary. And because of that, I like it. It's wide angle, could be taken on a phone. I don't know. Maybe you did take it on your phone, that's why it looks like that. Because of it, I prefer that to any other artworks that you did. And if you want my advice, but at the same time, don't make art for me. But one avenue you could explore is making surrealist art that have a bit more of a contemporary turn. Make it more about our daily life. Make it with references that we can associate to, or that we can get. Such as this one. I feel like this one speaks to me much more than this. This feels like it's coming straight from the 20s. And because of it, it just feels like it lacks creativity. Same thing here. Same thing here. Yeah. I feel like a lot of artists, maybe in an attempt to feel timeless or to recreate masters, don't commit to being of their time. And we had that problem in art history before. We had people, fucking academicists or neoclassical artists, were like, hey, let's not depict contemporary people. That's banal. Let's depict contemporary issues, but through the Greeks. Let's depict them through past periods so that it looks timeless. But I don't know, we're so oversaturated with the Renaissance art is just Greek roleplay, basically. But all art is timeless, and because it's timeless in a way, it doesn't feel like it's speaking to our contemporary times. It's not speaking to us specifically. I want to be spoken to. I want the art to look me in the eye and say, this is about you, motherfucker. That's what I want. And when you make timeless art, you're talking to the past, you're talking to the present, and you're talking to the future, which could be good. But that's what a lot of art does. And one way to stand out as an artist of your time is to speak of your time. Art of Ego Dram says, good advice, thank you. Sean Green, superfan, says, oh, great phrasing. Wow, I said something here that people were that people liked. Can we have some snaps in chat? Thank you, thank you. all goes downhill from here. Okay, well, thank you so much, David Blanchard. Go apply to become a Canadian citizen. Hopefully the the review is good and not too depression inducing. I hope, yeah. I think you have a lot of potential. I think, as I've shown, you do. It's just not for me in terms of subject matter. But I feel like if you wanted to make art for me, you could switch that subject matter into something that you know very specifically in your day-to-day conditions, and your art could be super fucking cool. For me, you don't have to listen. It's fine if you don't. Okay, next artist.